My name is George Landrith. I'm the president of the Frontiers of Freedom Institute. And when I was in law school, and I'm a little older than these guys, so it was a few years ago, at Thomas Jefferson's University in Charlottesville, I was taught there are three fundamental rules of constitutional interpretation. And about a decade later, when I started to teach constitutional law, I told my students on the very first day of class about these three rules. And they were, first, read the document. Second, read the document. And third, read the document.
Makes sense.
Now each night, I hear that Elena Kagan is smart, affable, and likable. And she may well be. But none of that qualifies her for a life appointment to the nation's highest court. There is nothing in her professional career that suggests she understands, appreciates, or would abide by any of those three constitutional rules of interpretation. I'd take it if she just do with one of them. But at any rate, her legal career, her self-identified judicial hero, her acceptance of foreign law as guiding in U.S. legal matters, her political activism, all point to her being an agenda-driven nominee who, if confirmed, will use her appointment to the High Court to impose her political agenda wherever possible. The Constitution will merely be an afterthought. Now, if you don't think that Elena Kagan's nomination matters, remember that earlier this week she was asked and failed to correctly answer a pretty simple question about whether Congress has the power to mandate or require that Americans eat 6 servings of vegetables and fruit each day. She unwittingly telegraphed that in her agenda-driven world, Congress can force Americans to buy the goods and services that she thinks, or that they think, we should be required to purchase. And that Congress has no real limits on its power that it can exercise over you and me. Now here's a reality check. If my constitutional law students could not correctly answer the question that she failed to answer correctly, they would not get a passing grade in my class. Now you tell me how it is then that she is qualified to sit on the nation's highest court if she can't answer an easy question on a first-year law school exam. Yeah. I'm not saying she's stupid. I'm not saying she's not smart enough. I'm saying she is too agenda-driven to be a fair and impartial judge who upholds the Constitution and who leaves her agenda at home. Here's another reality check. Several years ago, five agenda-driven judges on the U.S. Supreme Court rejected the plain language of the First Amendment and held that government can regulate and even ban some political speech 30 days before an election. Now, the First Amendment clearly does not permit that. It says Congress shall make no law abridging freedom of speech. This language has been used by the same court to protect virtual child pornography. And yet they could not find in that same language protection for political speech. Now, you have to understand that Ms. Kagan supports this sort of agenda-driven insanity. So let's be honest. If you cannot find in the First Amendment clear enough language to protect political speech, nothing is safe. Now, our Constitution and its freedoms that are embodied in it are being eroded by agenda-driven judges. And at some point, Americans must stand up and demand that judges uphold the Constitution rather than undermine it. And we must tell our senators that we expect them to oppose agenda-driven nominees. And they must start with the very smart, the very friendly, the very affable, but very agenda-driven Elena Kagan.